National 9 News with Mark Ferguson.
Before we go, we have a much-loved member of our news family leaving tonight, our long-time studio director, Jack Davidson. That's him in the control room. He started here at Channel 9 46 years ago and has been directing the 6 o'clock news for the past 30 years. We wish him well. That's National 9 News for this Thursday. From all of us, goodbye, Jack, good luck, and thank you.
I must now relate make a confession, a secret which I've held for many years. The late Sir Frank Packer was in the habit of calling the channel at odd hours of the night to request the replay of certain races from Randwick or a change in program. Well, I have to confess now that he's a lot of the time was not the culprit. After a session at the Bridgeview, some gentleman, one of them being Ian Stratton White, would ring Channel 9 and say, "Backer here." I want to see race 5 from Randwick. Yeah. All right, get this shit off. Poor old Mike Evans, who usually is on Saturday night, had to change the whole schedule. And, well, Sir Frank got blamed for it.
That's okay, because Kerry made up for it, didn't he?
Anyway, I'd like to thank all of you, both old employees and recent employees who made the effort to come along tonight and to make my last day at TCN memorable for me. I must also thank the staff who generously helped in making this possible. That's Eddie, Gary, Michelle and Sam. Well, 45, almost 46 years is a long time in somebody's life, and you wouldn't stay in one employment unless you're mad, where you enjoyed what you did and the people you worked with. And I've been extremely fortunate in this respect. From the day I started here in 1960, I found the television industry vibrant, exciting, and a lot of fun, as were the people who worked with. I began as a stagehand and went on to become a lighting technician and then a cameraman. Senior executives at the time, you're going to hear a few names tonight, were Ken G. Hall, Bruce Gingell, Alec Baz, Les Free, John Britton, Alec Calloway, and Pat Condon. I'm sure we all remember them. It was during the late 60s that I had the great good fortune to begin a liaison with the gorgeous director's assistant who became my treasured wife, Carolyn. The best move I ever made. Until today. The 60s was, I think, the most exciting period in television. We were all finding out new and exciting ways to work with the medium, with programs such as Bandstand with Hendo, Sound of Music, the Mabel Lynch Show, the many versions of the Tonight Show format, rock and pop shows, sporting OBs and programs. And if you remember, those of you who remember that far back, the studios used to buzz with excitement with Jeff Harvey and his musos 3 or 4 nights a week, singers, dancers, comedians, side acts, and the appearance of every international celebrity who came to town. I should here like to salute some of the great studio directors of the time, Warwick Freeman,
Well, I do hope you enjoyed your ride on the Bandstand Express and that you'll join us next time. Just before we go, something which is pretty sad to conclude a happy show. Tonight we say goodbye to Warwick Freeman, who's been with us quite a long time. Warwick, we all wish you the best. Crew, what do you say?
Yeah! Noel Swanson, Ray Newell.
The gas cooking, KG 33, part 1, take 3.
Peter Skilton, Peter Bernardus, Billy Dennis Developments and Brian Morelli. Also the Carolyn who set the standard for others to follow. Ray, Rod, Paul, Bruce, Bob the Bird, Greg, Tony, Laurie, Joe and Norm. To name a few. I began directing in 1969, and during the early to mid-70s I had the privilege of working on many variety shows, talent shows, tonight shows, sports programs, game shows, produced by Grundy's, commercials, the original Current Affair with Mike Willesee, Federal File with Jerry Stone, weekly boxing telecasts with Ron Casey, children's programs, and even World Championship Wrestling, Joe the Gadget Man and Handy Andy.
This is a 160cc Pace Victor mower, one of the finest in the world today. Why? It's got zip start. Now with the throttle control at the back, just put it to start, listen. And away she'll go after a couple of pulls, you rotten bastard.
Hello there, welcome once again to Knockin'.
It was also during this time that I became involved with the news department, directing the nightly bulletin once or twice a week when Ian Vance, or as he was better known, the Fuhrer, was off. In 1974 I travelled overseas, and with the assistance of Mike Ramsden and Lincoln Taylor, I visited the studios of the BBC in London, the ABC and CBS in Washington and New York. And there I had the very good fortune to meet and talk with the legendary Walter Cronkite and watch the production of their bulletins from their control rooms. And with the advent of colour in 1975, of course there are many changes in the use of the medium, or the use or misuse of chroma keys, the introduction of chirons, blue or green screens, etc. This is also the start of the World Series cricket and the revolutionary carriage by innovators David Hill, Brian Morelli and Warren Berkeley. The late 70s also began my association with 60 Minutes in its first years, mounting the final studio production with Jerry Stone, Peter Meakin, Ray George and Ian Leslie. In the mid-70s also began my full-time association with the news department, and here I should like to pay tribute to the brilliant and talented news directors who have been my privilege to work with. Mike Ramsden, John Fole, Jerry Stone, Jim Whaley, Peter Meakin, Ian Cook, Paul Fenn, Tony Ritchie, and briefly John Ciafaldi and Gary Linnell. And if you think about it, I might have left one or two people out. I must also pay tribute to the very creative producers of Nine News over the years, John Pemberton, Tops, Peter Andrew in MHR, John Muldrew, John Kyle, David McComb, Mary Davison, Jim Carroll, Graham Thurston, Jack Maurice, Rob Hurst, Bug and Craig Sutherland. Also many illustrious and talented journalists, news cameramen, soundies, Don White and his editors, Becker and the beta card operators, typists and auto cue operators. And of course the presenters, the anchor people, the front line. Hendo of course, Roscoe, Jim, Mark, Helen, Mike, Peter, Georgie, Kelly, Janie, Hugh, Eric Walters. All of whom have been a pleasure to work with, and not a prima donna amongst them, even though the media would say that. Hendo, of course, what can you say about Hendo that has been said already? I first started with Hendo in 1960 as the stagehand nailing tinsel stars to the frame of his host set on Bandstand. That was directed by Warwick Freeman.
Yeah, cop this, mate. Now when the opera house is built, whenever that may be, the first night they will bring in stars for everyone to see. Now Sydney's Lord Mayor will be there to make a speech or two, and when they pull the curtain up, he will say to you, did you, was you, how you going, mate? betcha, let you get your blimey, get it straight. Dinkum Bonzo and Zadina, give a bloke a break. Did you, was you, are you gonna, are you going, mate?
I then worked as the lighting technician in Caravan on Bandstand and even had a turn at directing. And then, of course, my association with Brian on National 9 News for 25 years. It's been an honour and a privilege to have had such a happy working relationship with you, Brian, over those golden years under the direction of Cookie and Fennick. And Roscoe, what a pity you left us.
See you, Jack.
Hey Roscoe, do you remember the Glenfield Wally Mellish siege and the overnight press parties? The papal tour and press conference of 1970, you tried to look very pious. The dangers of the falling Skylab, and that terrible Nick blazer you used to wear around the control room.
Don't knock that, I've still got
Roscoe, I've always valued your advice, your wit, professionalism and personal dignity. Jim Whaley, of course, solid, dependable, with a wealth of experience and always been a good friend of mine for many years in the trenches. And Mark Ferguson, smooth, urbane, the successful face and voice of National 9 News for years to come. The sports jocks, the original Ron Casey, Kenny, Clinton, Shero, Andy and Danny. The finance people, Ross and all the girls. And I'd like to pay a special tribute to all the studio personnel I've worked with over the years. All the switchers, TVs, lighting and audio personnel, floor managers and stagehands, all of whom are Timothy and know. Also special friends like Rob, Nick and Nick. My thanks to all the lovely DAs, Linda Bullock, Jane Pryor, Lauren, Teresa, Geraldine, Alicia, Danielle, Tamara, Amy, Kate, Lorinda, Jessie, Gabby, Kieran, and many, many more over the years. Not to forget the one I married. Thanks to all the NCR personnel who handled difficult tasks under a lot of pressure, Rasso and Mike Landy and company. Also the videotape operators and videographics artists, the old-time telecine people, and the tireless engineers who are always on call. My thanks to Scott Suter and some people in middle management, particularly Con Peters, who knows everyone's history and abilities and is a competent friend to many. To all who are associated with my 30-year function in 1990, in particular Ian Cook, Steve McQueen, Marco Sneakers, Ian Ross, Mike Moore, my humble gratitude. My long-suffering family who had to put up with me not being there at some crucial times in our life because of work commitments. Thank you and my apologies. How grateful I am to have a wife like Carolyn, who has always been supportive, loving and understanding during the good and bad times. My talented son Sean, who is the greatest undiscovered blues guitarist of all time, and my best friend. And my loving and lovely daughter Marnie, my wonderful son-in-law Justin, and my 4 darling grandchildren, who will keep me constantly occupied during my retirement. And there goes the R word. And finally, my second family. All of you who I've had the pleasure and privilege of working with over the years. I salute your professionalism and your pride in your work. I'll miss the camaraderie of the studio, the control room and the newsroom, and those downtimes we spent on the loading dock, rapping with Mike and Jeff and Slam and all the others, as you know. It saddens that I'll leave you, but wish you all the best in the future. I'll leave you with a few words from 3 great figures. As Dan Rather used to say at the end of his evening news, courage. Jeff Fennick's immortal words, I love yous all. And to quote Edward R. Murrow, good night and good luck.
now released for TV, a great Hollywood classic, Ingrid Bergman and Bing Crosby in The Bells of St. Mary's, tomorrow night at 8. This is Channel 9 TCN Sydney, first in Australia.
We're here to celebrate Nick's retirement after so many years, 50 years. And what a day he's picked. The 8 to the 8 to the 08. Gosh, that's a big day. Nick has clocked up 50 odd years in this business, which is a milestone, because when someone gets 50 at the cricket ground, they get a good round of applause. Let's hear a round of applause. That's it. And follow me. I'm going to hand the microphone now to another old stager, Brian Maloney. Thank you, Jim.
Find a bit of key light, right? Find a bit of key light. That's better.
I think I've just learned that in showbiz you shouldn't work with children and animals. I think I've just learned never to follow Jim Badger. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Well, he's an animal.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Nick really wasn't outstanding as a...
Cop that, Alexander.
He was a nice, quiet young boy. He was working in the pink car with Jim. And we're doing a milk board special. And it was also sponsored by a roller company and a brand new sports car. So they brought 3 of them into the studio. They were Triumph Heralds, convertibles even, 2-seaters. And we did this spectacular program, and then everybody closed down and we all went home except lighting and staging. Staging cleared the studio, and then lighting lowered the lights. And a couple of the boys thought, gee, these new cars are great, where the hell they go? So Nick and
Lynn Tinkler.
Decided to start a couple up and have a little drive around the studio. And they got a little bit faster, and a little bit faster, and a little bit faster, and they started doing donuts. Then they started dragging.
Ken Lawrence.
And all of a sudden, somebody turned the lights back up. And there was all these bloody big black donut marks all over our brand new floor. John Davies, who was the stagehand one on the evening, said, Christ, there's going to be a hell of a play about this. He said, no, you're all right, we just keep the lights down. But Nick, the next day turned up, and Dave Gingell's father came in and saw it and hit the booth. And a couple of blokes got fired. One of them, of course, was Nick. And I think that was the most exciting thing I ever saw Nick do in his entire career. But lo and behold, in television, as you all know, time and tide fixes everything. And how many years was it before you came back?
10.
10, well, it took a bit longer of you, didn't it? 10 years later.
8 years.
8 years. Do I hear 7? Anybody got 7? Was it 5?
1960 to 1960.
Good, 8 years. Anyway, he came back, and I thought, isn't that marvellous that they could forget and forgive such a bloody disaster thing, because we had to live with that forever. Anyway, Nick, he came back, and as you all know, and all the younger people now know, that he's a good character. It was very good that he came back, and Nick, it was a great pleasure knowing you. We worked on a lot of programs, too many to mention, and I wish you all the best in your retirement.
All right. The next person to take the microphone from me, as holding the camera at the moment, Ray Emma.
You're up, Ray.
Thank you, Jim and Ryan. Just about totally summed it up.
Oh, where is it? There it is.
A quick account. I came in here in the late 50s. I think Nick had been here about 6 months. And Les Free pointed me in the direction of Studio One. He said, well, that's your territory up there, on that dreaded grid. I thought, wow, got to be a monkey to get up there to start with. And Nick, of course, was up on the grid that day. And we looked at it and we said, well, what do we do? Meanwhile, Alt was quite a explosive Canadian. He said, God damn, just get up there. I just don't want to know what you're doing down here. Just get up there and move those lights over there and do this. This went on for about a year and a half. God knows how you survived that, because the planks in those days weren't held onto the grid, and you'd step on them and the thing would slide. How you think of safety these days? Well, it just didn't exist then. How we didn't drop lights on top of people's heads, because the audience used to sit underneath you. Particularly in Studio 2, they'd be carrying these 2Ks around under one arm, you'd be hanging on to the grid with the other. And this is live, all going to air live, and the studios were really active. We'd be working from 7 o'clock in the morning, we'd go through the midnight on a limb shift, and then we'd go to 7 to 9 o'clock. We'd be out there, so I'd drive home to Palm Beach, I'd have to sleep for 2 hours, and I'd be back here for the 7 o'clock shift in the morning. The point that I want to make is that we survived all that. There were great days, and it was a damn good team spirit, and I'm sure that it still exists these days, and probably a different sort of mode, because the studios aren't quite as busy as they used to be. But Nick was a great guy to work with. He was up there, he gave me a lot of good advice, and we survived it. So Nick, I wish you all the best, and I think it's really about your time.
That was Ray Hanlon, cameraman extraordinaire.
Look, I can't top Badger or him. I want to say all the very best to you, and I know your dream is to travel around Australia with your caravan. You know, I envy you that. We're going to be doing that one of these days. And it's been a pleasure honour knowing you over the years, and I just wish you all the very best in the years to come. Thank you very much, Nick.
Let's got a few old timers out of the way. What are those? There's another old one. The old man from the sea, Robbie. Come here. Where come here? Yeah.
He's old too.
We all worked on lots of programs, and we all became lighting directors, board men, and things like that. The floor man was a coveted position, and follow spot operators, etc. As Ray Hammond said, he's sitting up on top of a live audience for Sound of Music. You might be sweating over your 5K. And went down to the news zones below and things like that. These memorable moments, and it was a wonderful time. And it was great to share with you. Thank you. All the best. Thank you.
I'd have to get down to that place and sample that lovely wine cellar. Yes.
Thanks so much for your professional working relationship that we've had, and this as well. And I'm sure I'll pass the course again at some point.
Oh, Jim.
Okay. Even if it's only picking up mushroom cookers from around the corner of your place, we'll call him for a cup of tea. Absolutely. Okay.
Yep.
All the best.
Thank you, Colin.
Marco has some important business to do. Marco.
First of all, I want to thank Nick for all his work over the years. Very well done. He's the best 60 minutes trying to keep lights up there. That's good. No one else can get 60 minutes flat as Nick. And we all love Nick, and we know how he loves travelling. And there's a good story about Nick travelling.
Oh no.
He was to a hotel in Brisbane one day.
That was my fault. That was my fault.
Andrew took me out drinking one night, and in the middle of the night, of course, as you'd have to do in the middle of the night, is get up to relieve yourself. And Nick in the dark was going around the hotel room, opened up the bathroom door and hopped out, and he was in the hallway. Starkers. So Nick found a newspaper, split it in two, a bit in front, bit in back, and he didn't want to catch the elevator, so he went down the fire escape. Got to the fire escape, and no door would open when he got to the floor. He ended up out in the street in Brisbane in the early hours of the morning. He had to front up the reception and ask for the keeper room 702, please. And that is the truth. Anyway, we come to the formal part of the evening. The first formal part of the evening we have to do is the ceremonial handover of the biscuit tin. The biscuit tin will be handed to Andrew Beach for distribution. Andrew, of course, is not going to do the show, but he will hand it to the person who's going to do the show, which is probably Ryan, who's hiding at the back. Or whoever else wants to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning every morning.
No, there's only one biscuit tin, and he's taking it with him.
No, he's not going to hand it out. Nick is keeping the biscuit tin for posterity to eat his biscuits out of in the future on his trip around Australia with the caravan.
Show them your DVD first and hand out a biscuit.
The second presentation we have is something very important. This is from Anton to Nick.
Something special for you, Nick.
Something very special. I'd like you to...
Personal gift.
Personal gift from Anton. Anton sat next to Nick for probably the past 10 years. Nick has...
I'd like to talk to Miri about that too.
Nick has constantly berated Anton about his smoking and having smoking. Three long stories. This is in a regs book. Nick has never filled out a regs book in his life. And he's got his own now.
Where Anton's filled up around his head. I believe you got some time, Nick.
I've lashed out there, Anton.
I can never see the point of dobbing myself in.
Nick can now sit at home and write the regs to his heart's content when he sees something wrong on chapter
9. Just read reception.
I'll just read reception.
The next present, there's a whole pile of presents here. The next present, we have to unwrap this now and expose it to the audience staff.
The present.
Already a line plan.
Oh, look at that!
It's a Nick doing donuts in his Grand Studios.
That's really good. That's cool.
Very well. Right?
Fantastic.
Can glue that to the ceiling of the caravan, Nick.
Who did it? What's the person? Is the person responsible here?
Tara organised this with our resident artist.
Oh, that is fantastic.
I think that's the same person who did Pop.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay, unwrap this one, Nick. This is a present from your lifetime, organised by Andrew and Tara.
Go easy on the paper, buddy.
It's a shirt signed by mostly everybody with little scanned reproduced photos from Nick's collection on the outside.
Hey Dick, when was the last time you held up the reflector board? Dick?
Actually, on the, I thought we had photo today on the boat.
Oh, wedding in the morning?
Yeah.
Last but not least is one more present from us. Got a box here next to us. It's a nice big box. This is from management and the staff to you. Have your life.
A roll of gel.
Definition of LCD screen.
You get to watch the Today Show every morning. I can watch the Today Show on HD.
It's good to turn on only. You can't go to any channel.
Hey, what about the Olympics? How do you have any ceremonies on now?
Oh, watch the Olympics. Hold it up. Hold it up so everyone can see it.
Nice watch.
Our music for a few words to you out there.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you very much for all coming today. It's really nice. When I first started at Channel 9 back in 1958, I applied for a job here and I came here. I said, what do you want to do? I said, oh, I think I want to be a technician. I said, okay, fine. So I spent a week blowing dust out of furniture cameras. And at the end of the week they came to me and said, how do you like it? I said, I don't. Oh, what would you like to do? I said, I think I'd like to do lighting. Okay. A week later, I was on lighting. That was the start of it all. And the end of it, of course, was in 1960 when Linton was over there, and I
remember it well, my boy.
And Dennis Lawrence's brother?
Dennis Lawrence's brother, Ken Lawrence.
Carl Mensinger.
Carl Mensinger.
Oh, there were four of them.
Peter Russell, wasn't it? Peter Russell?
Peter Russell wasn't. There's only four of us.
He got the sack for growing his hair too long.
So we joked about it that night. I wonder if we got fired. The next day, he rang me and said, oh, guess what? We got fired. I said, yeah, right. And the next day, I went into the studio, got into my overalls, and walked up into the studio. While McCabe was the lighting director, he said, you have to go and see Les Free. Oh, yeah, why? I think he'd been sacked. Okay. So that was it. And well, from then, I went to Chapter 7 and Chapter 10. Chapter 10 opened up and went overseas to England with a few friends who decided we should go. The obligatory 2 years OS, which everyone did in those days. And went to Londres, Paris, all those places.
Smuggled radios. Smuggled radios.
Smuggled radios. Yeah, that's the first we had this. We were on this ship called the Patrice, and we went to Greece. And in order to find somewhere to live, we asked one of the stewards, is there somewhere we can stay? And he said, I have a cousin. Greeks have millions of cousins. I found that out. I have a cousin who has a place you could live. All you have to do is just take this little radio off. Okay. So I put it under my arm, under my coat, and walked out. Of course, I felt like I was glowing. And every person I saw was a customs agent. Anyway, eventually got to this little restaurant out in the street. Very quietly, just right under the table. Just kind of grabbed it and put it on top of the table and started playing it. Anyway, we end up in this fantastic fantastic.
Brothel.
This place, and we were staying on the 3rd floor. And that night we went, it was in the Placa, in the old part of Athens, and we went for a walk as you do. And when we got back, there's all these people outside, you know, women and guys sort of arguing about this, that, and the other. Oh, this is a bit strange. Anyway, went up to our room, and then one of the girls was coming back in a cab, and she said, "Oh, where are you going?" And the guy said, she said to the guy, 21 Athens Street. "Oh no, very bad place, very bad place." "Oh, why?" "Yeah, being an Aussie chick." "Why, what's wrong with that? You know, it's at my hotel. That's what I was saying." "Oh," she said, "we said, well, very, very, very bad place." Yeah. And it turned out that the first 2 floors were a brothel. There were 75 drachmas, I remember. Very cheap.
What did you get a gracious?
Anyway, cut a long story short. I came back to Channel 9. I came back to Australia in 1968. And I obviously wanted to go back to Channel 10 because that's where I left. And Channel 10 was pre-number 96 and couldn't hire a cleaner. So I thought, and I went back to the chief engineer at Channel 10, Ross Thayer, and he said, "Why don't you go back to Channel 9? I said, "Oh no, they fired me years ago." So I got a job at Channel 7. And Channel 7 sent me a telegraph on the Friday prior. Telegram, remember? Anybody know about Telegram? Saying, application unsuccessful. Anyway, okay. So I went back to my friend Ross Thayer and he said, "Why don't you go to Channel 9 anyway?" So I rang Les Free, and he said, "Les, I got this great line of director, what's his name? Nick Alexander. I fired him years ago. Oh, send him over." Anyway, I went back to Channel 9. He hired me to do the Today Show, actually. And during that time, working in television is something that's, it's a living, breathing entity. It's not just a job. It's a job where you relate to other people you work with in probably more ways than normal workplace arrangements. You become part of a family. And Joan.
I work at SBS, by the way.
Joan works for another
family.
group. But in the Channel 9, in all seriousness, has become my second family. And as I've been known to say, the third party in a ménage à trois. And she's a demanding bitch. In terms of time, I know that people are...
That's the excuse all those hours I spent at home alone. Falling asleep on the lounge in front of the TV. Looking after the children. Get that right down.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
Anyone listening?
But what I'm trying to say, in being interrupted by my is that I made some fantastic friends here, people that I truly feel a great deal of warmth for, people I work with every day. We exchange little intimacies that you wouldn't normally do with workmates. And I've been sort of a father figure, I suppose, in the writing department.
Yep.
my phone prescribed advice and wisdom, my wisdom anyway. But I just like to say that I'm going to miss you a lot.
We'll miss you.
Something fierce. And in the words of the old bard, I love you all.